Hello, this is Partial Hangout here, back with another MP4 file. In this video, I will be reviewing the indie interactive horror story game, Sally Face. The game follows the life of a high school boy named Sally, unraveling a deep mystery surrounding odd occurrences where he lives with his friends. As with my other reviews, I will be dividing them into three main sections: aesthetic, story, and then gameplay. This will also be spoiler free, so essentially I'll just be giving basic information about the story and my personal thoughts on my experience with it all. And the gameplay I will be showing will be minimal and from the beginning of the game, so no need to worry there. If you like the content I put out, a like and a subscribe really go a long way. And if you have any thoughts on this video or suggestions for future videos, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. With that said, let's dive into the game's aesthetic. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm a huge fan of it. Upon inspection, it has a very cartoony art style, almost like if it came right out of a children's book. Even though this game is very much meant for older people. Big heads, lanky bodies, minimalist backgrounds. Truthfully, I never really played any game with an art style like this. It is most common to see pixel art with indie games, so seeing something like this is very refreshing and simply unique. This also adds a level of eeriness when something scary or disturbing happens. Usually we associate this art style with something like an innocent children's book, like I mentioned earlier, so seeing something deviate from that visual expectation of innocence with this art style just add that extra layer of spookiness to the game that I really enjoy. Shifting over to the music, it is also something I really like. Specifically because it adheres to my favorite genre of music, metal. As he ventures through the world, memorable distorted guitar riffing will usually be playing in the background. There's even a part where you meet a friend and he has a vinyl record player in his room. And when you interact with it, it will play like a legit metal song with like screaming vocals and the characters will be like headbanging. It's like, I absolutely adore it. You can tell the developer is a metalhead, and I think that's awesome. Keep in mind, the game's OST aren't all metal adjacent songs, but most of them are. And when there isn't metal playing, it is usually for a good reason, to indicate something emotional or important to the story, or just like a calm moment. Overall, in my opinion, I think the aesthetic of this game feels very inspired and eye-catching, and I just think it's really good. Moving on to the story, which would be the main attraction for a game like this. I am not disappointed at all. Memorable characters, interesting plot twists, emotionally gripping moments. It has it all. I would say the genre of story for Sally Face is mystery with some horror elements within. As I said previously, the game follows the life of a boy in his high school and early adult years. At the start of the game, Sally the player is in his high school years, and him and his father are moving to a new apartment following the death of Sally's mother. Things are going swell at first. Sally moves in, gets acquainted with the people around him, and even makes a new friend. However, it appears that a murder investigation is underway at the apartment at that same time, and Sally and his new friend, Larry, take it upon themselves to find the culprit. It only gets stranger though from there, as they realize there's much more to this murder and the apartment than meets the eye. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but just know that I thoroughly enjoyed it and had a really good experience. As someone who loves a mystery story, I do think the story's pacing does get a little slow towards the middle, but it's kind of a little bit more of a gameplay issue than anything. So let's move on to that. The gameplay is fine, but if that is what you are coming here for, then you need to find a different genre of indie game, because this is not the game's strongest aspect in my opinion. The gameplay involves the player being able to move left and right. He is able to interact with things like doors, objects, elevators, and people. You are usually doing three things throughout the game: exploring, dialogue, and puzzles. Exploring to find out what you need to do next, talking for information and context with a traditional chat box at the bottom of the screen, and puzzles to provide some challenge. You even have an inventory to cycle through different items you obtain throughout the game to use them when necessary. This gameplay is very reminiscent of those escape room games on phones, if any of you have ever played those, where you have to move between rooms to solve puzzles. That is essentially what it boils down to. Some of the puzzles, though, can be a real challenge. I had to look up one of them towards the end of the game, and I was dumbfounded by the answer. I would have never figured it out. So, just so you know, this game does have a few very challenging puzzles that are honestly not designed the greatest in my opinion. I don't want to spoil anything, but just know that some of the puzzles are kind of unfair. And if you feel like looking something up, I'd recommend it to save time. More often than not, it is not your fault, but rather the poor design of the puzzle not really like indicating what you're even like looking for. It's weird. But yeah, the gameplay is decent, but nothing really groundbreaking or anything. You just walk around and interact with one button. You're definitely playing this game for the story for sure. Oh, and one other thing, Sally Face does contain the usual secrets and hidden lore that these types of games have, so if that interests you, this is another solid reason to pick the game up. But yeah, that about sums up the review. I highly recommend this game if you fancy yourself a good murder mystery. The characters are memorable, the dialogue feels meaningful, the art style is very attractive and unique. Gameplay is probably the only thing that is lackluster, but other than that, real solid game here. And man, that story is just real good. I wish I could like delve into more detail, but I really don't want to spoil much, but it's really good, really good. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Again, if you like the content, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts or suggestions, the comments are all yours. Partial Hangout, signing off.